So Sypherpk is absolutely losing it on Twitter right now, and for good reason. I know that in the past, Sypher and I have not always seen eye to eye on particular issues, but regardless of previous disagreements, this is something that I think not just he and I, but the majority of the Fortnite community can agree on. There is something seriously wrong with creative Fortnite right now, and it's all centered around one specific content creator. Now, before I get into the meat of any of this, I want to make it very clear that I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible when it comes to this issue. When you're talking about money, and when you're talking about copyright and certain legal issues, this is never an easy minefield to navigate through. But when have we ever been one to stray away from controversy here on this channel? But let's stop dancing around the issue. We're talking about Geerzy and his constant gatekeeping of his map, The Pit. Now, this is not the first time I've heard about this, but it seems like this issue is finally coming to a head. Now, to give everybody here a bit of context as to what's going on, we have to go to Twitter, and this all started a few days ago with a content creator by the name of Leoxy, I believe. So he said, 7 days before payout, my biggest map I've spent weeks working on, constantly updating, has been taken down with no explanation. No email, no DM, no warning, just disabled. Leoxy updated us today and said, I've got an email, and yeah, it was Geerzy who striked my map, even though he has trademark on the name The Pit, not Pit. Sadly, this is how the big creators work in this field. Now, with all that being said, how does Sypherpk fit into this? Well, Sypher retweeted Leoxy's post and said, yo, Fortnite Create, you guys just letting one of your top map makers abuse copyright? No one owns the word pit. Now from here, it just escalated. Things went crazy. Geerzy replied, he's like, maybe ask a lawyer about the difference between copyright and trademark. And then Sypher replied, in my version of the pit, Geerzy, you yourself understand that your map is just your version of the pit, a generic game type that existed before you made your map on Fortnite, and that is 100% true. This is actually a map concept that originally came from Minecraft. Now, if you thought the drama stopped there, you'd be wrong, because Geerzy went back and replied, sounds like you still haven't spoken to a lawyer. And then Sypher claps back and says, go speak to your parents about not being a little bitch. Now look, as much as I want to be the bigger person here and not encourage name calling, I have to admit this was probably one of the best clapbacks I've seen all day today. Now, the other context of this situation, I want to give my 2 cents on where I stand with this issue. This is the equivalent of copying off the smartest kid in the room's test and then getting mad at somebody else for copying off of your test. You didn't do the work to begin with. All you did was copy somebody else's idea and then put it in a different game. Not to mention, when it comes to trademarks, you can't do it on things that are very generic, like The Pit or Pit. That's a word that people can use for a variety of different reasons in a variety of different ways. But more important than the trademark issues, I want to say this to Geerzy. Why is it that you feel entitled to this concept? Is it because that this is the only thing that you have to your name and this is the only thing that you're good at and you're actually not talented enough to come up with something else that's inventive? You can't figure out any other ways to build off of the success of your first map? This isn't something that you came up with a concept for. You were just first to market with it within Fortnite at a time when maps weren't as saturated as they are now, and now you become one of the legacy Fortnite maps. Even if there are other versions of the pit, people will always go back and play yours. So is it just that you don't want to have any market share when it comes to concepts like that because you want to make all the money? Are you afraid of somebody else making a map better than yours? Because if I'm being completely transparent, that's what it seems like to me. You're gatekeeping this because this is the only thing you have, and if someone else makes another version of it, they'll probably do it better than you. Because with all due respect, the only thing that you've shown that you're good at is copying other people's ideas. And look, I'm not knocking you for doing that. If I could go back in time and do the idea first myself, I would. But the problem is, I wouldn't be trying to gatekeep it from everyone else. I would definitely be trying to expand on the idea, make a brand around it, and figure out new ways to make the concept better, as well as allow other people to enjoy the concept also. FaZe Sisters made a brilliant point and said, this is like claiming the word death run. You can't do that. There are so many different death run styled maps, just like you can have so many different pit styled maps. If you were to guard this little precious treasure of yours like it's your only child, it's rather juvenile. Which leads me to my next question. Outside of making money, what is your goal here? You're doing something that's clearly dividing the Fortnite community. It's legally gray at best, and it doesn't make you look good. I want to point something out to my audience here. This is a prime example of why you don't make content only for the sake of money. When you're only money motivated and the only thing you can see are money signs, you destroy the ecosystem in which you operate in. These are not good practices to have for creative Fortnite. In Epic Games, you guys need to be a bit more responsible when it comes to monitoring who is taking down certain maps or who is requesting to take down certain maps and for what reasons. What gives him the authority to do that? Because he's a legacy map builder? And look, not to get too personal here, but this good old boys mentality in the Fortnite creative space is one of the things that turned me off from it personally. There are certain experiences I had when making my own maps and certain things that I saw from the Fortnite creative community that really turned me off to a lot of the larger map builders. It really does seem like an environment where Fortnite is only concerned about the integrity of the people that make them the most money. Those are the people that we have to protect. Those are the creators who we'll listen to. But the guys at the bottom, or the guys that are trying to make new maps, new experiences for people to play on, we don't value them as much because their methods aren't tried and true. It's also the reason why I partnered with the guys at UEFN Hub and my boy That Nerd Chris to create Unreal Island Showdown, which is a podcast that we have where we not only talk to small map developers and content creators to promote their projects, but we play on your guys' maps live. We want to see what other people in the community are making, people that aren't getting as much attention as they could be. There are so many brilliant minds in this space, and you guys just don't get seen. And for those that are starting to gain some traction, you have content creators like Geerzy that are trying to suppress you because you're playing on their idea. So is there anything that we can do, or is Geerzy and a lot of the other top map builders just going to be able to strong arm their way in the creative Fortnite community? I have a few different ideas that we can utilize to make some change around here. Number one, stop playing the pit. I normally don't call for boycotting and canceling people and all that, but if Epic Games is going to start supporting people or encouraging people to suppress other up-and-coming map builders, I can't support the big map builders that are going for this change. The second thing we could do, which I think would be absolutely hilarious, is for a bunch of people to start making a bunch of pit-type maps. I thought about doing this a few days ago, just putting a map out there to kind of meme and troll Geerzy a little bit, but I don't have the technical know-how nor the time to invest into something like that, so that's where all you beautiful people come in. If, let's say, I don't know, 20, 50, 100 of y'all decided to make your own version of the pit, called it the hole, and try to gain some traction on it, well, let's see how many of those maps that Geerzy can take down. Let's see how many Epic Games will actually want to take down. Who knows? Maybe if you make a better version of the pit than him and it gets some traction, maybe people just want to play that instead. The other thing you could do is play some different maps that have a similar goal or function. For example, I made a really awesome competitive Fortnite map with my friends called Cracked Coliseum. This was originally designed for me and my cousin when we were playing competitive builds to warm up for tournaments, but I think it's turned into a really fun map that me and my community just like to enjoy. It's never gotten any real crazy traction. I don't necessarily expect to get any traction from this video, but it is definitely a really fun map that combines both box fights and zone wars in one map. If you want to check it out, go ahead and type in the island code that's up on screen right now. Finally, and most importantly, I'd like to reach a hand out not only to Sypherpk, but also to Geerzy. Geerzy, if you'd like to come on to Unreal Island Showdown and give your side of things as to why you think you're justified in what you do and why you are entitled to the word the pit, we would love to hear from you. I'm actually very curious, and I promise we'll keep the conversation respectful, even though I will definitely disagree with your position. The thing is, you should never run from discourse. If I truly believe in what I'm saying, then I should be able to have a conversation with the guy that's the driving force behind this ideology. If you genuinely feel that what you're saying is true and you deserve the rights to that map and no one else should be able to use it but you, I think you should be intelligent and eloquent enough to defend your position as well. So if you'd like to come on, have a discussion with me, That Nerd Chris, I would love to have you. And to Sypherpk, the same invitation to you. I know that you probably have an interesting perspective when it comes to this, and I'm sure that there's a lot more details you could give on a podcast format than you could just by relating in a tweet or even one of your own personal YouTube videos. Heck, even if you and Geerzy want to come on together, maybe you guys have a little discussion, we keep it respectful. I think it might be good for the entire Fortnite community to see that. I think a variety of different opinions should be heard, and if Geerzy has a legitimate, genuine explanation and reasoning behind why he does what he does that we haven't heard yet, I would be open to hearing it. Maybe he can change my mind. I doubt it, but maybe it's possible. This is quite an interesting development that's going on in the Fortnite community right now, and I want to shed as much light on it as possible because, quite frankly, this is something that needs to change.